You ever have to cancel plans because you just can't do it? You're mentally cooked, you're fried, you're done for the day, and then immediately spiral. They're mad at me. They hate me. I'm a terrible person. What if they die tonight and I never get to apologize? What if they hate me forever and we never speak again? That's guilt. Then anxiety shows up. They probably already replaced you. Good job. You're no longer their friend, their spouse, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their employee. You just no longer exist in their life. Welcome to my emotional hell loop, as I like to call it, that I never signed up for. Maybe you haven't either. Today we're talking about guilt and anxiety, also known as emotional tag team from hell. Let's begin. So here's the deal. Guilt says you did something wrong. Anxiety, you're about to do something worse. And together they turn your brain into a 24-hour regret machine. Fun, right? But these aren't just feelings or signals. They come from somewhere, and they don't care about your feelings or how your day is going. If you don't figure out how they work and how they attack you and how they, run your day-to-day life, they will run everything. They will destroy it and bring you down to a place you don't want to be. So let's break it down. For me, I have felt guilt and anxiety my whole life. I have felt guilt growing up as a kid when my sisters maybe didn't get something I got, or I would feel jealousy if they got something I didn't. Then I'd have guilt over feeling jealous. And those things are normal, right? Those are normal things that kids go through. But mine never let go. I broke a rule. I hurt someone. I failed my own values. I screwed up. I did something bad. You have guilt over that. It's useful. It helps you deal with things. It helps you apologize. It helps you reflect and grow. But it can be toxic. Not like, oh my God, she's so toxic. It's more like it sticks around forever. You beat yourself up forever, and you can't just let it go. For me, I still do this from everything from my military time to teaching, to being a husband, to being a dad, to being a son, to being a brother, everything in between. I always have guilt every time I do anything. I always feel like I should have done more, could have done more. Your emotions are linked to your future, right? The way you act today, the way you act tomorrow, the way you act yesterday changes your path for tomorrow, the next day, the 10 years down the road, and so on and so forth. If you automatically say something's bad's going to happen because yesterday I was a horrible person, you're starting the guilt and anxiety path automatically. You're not ready for the bad things to happen, but you know they're going to happen. It can be useful again. It keeps you alert from danger, right? It keeps you safe from bad things happening. But it also can be soul destroying. Makes you panic over hypothetical situations that probably will never happen. They work together, anxiety and guilt, as a tag team that wants to destroy you. And the big issue I have is I let them control me way more than they should. Now, maybe you don't. Maybe you're on board and you're doing the right thing and you're balanced. Yesterday, the other day when I did a podcast, I talked about how I was trying to figure out what was causing me to take steps forward and back and forward and back. And I was trying to figure out why. And I'm realizing that I've never let go of a lot of the guilt I've had since my early childhood. And the anxiety I feel every day, the anxiety of my wife leaving me, or my kids hating me, or people not trusting me, or things just exploding, it's because of my past. And I've never just said, okay, I've learned, I've grown, I'm doing better. And instead of that, letting that go and growing from it, I hold on to it. So when I screw up, even if it's a little bit, I automatically go back to I'm the worst person alive, and it recycles itself. But let's start with a list. I like lists. You like lists. I like lists. We all like lists, right? So, number one, things that cause guilt, anxiety, family stuff, growing up as a kid, you might have done something silly, or in a relationship or a family member, you might have treated them badly, or they treated you badly, or they said something to you that you took the wrong way, or you just screwed up and you don't know how to get through it. I feel guilty a lot of times about just my mother, my sisters, and even my father. I hated my father for so long for no reason. I feel guilty about that a lot. And not talking to him, even though I can, more often, again, makes me feel guilty. And it makes me actually not talk to him more because I feel guilty because I haven't talked to him. So it's a spiraling effect. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but I have. Thinking to yourself, when I become more mature, when I become more of an adult, when I become this, when I become that, maybe I'll be better. It never gets better until you let it heal. The next one for me is also a big one. This is one I struggle with on a day-to-day basis, really, is cultural or religious guilt. Now, I taught at a Catholic school, and the joke with Catholics is, they're guilty all the time. They always feel guilty. They're never good enough. And even though I'm not Catholic, I am a Christian. You haven't figured that out by watching any of my videos. And when I make a mistake, when I feel like I'm not doing what Jesus or God called me to do, when I feel like I'm not living up to the gifts that I've been given, it makes me feel guilty. It actually stops me from pursuing the things that I want to pursue because I start beating myself up on, well, God had this plan for me. I destroyed it. I screwed it up. He doesn't really want me to do it anymore because I'm such a failure. And it makes the time and effort I'm putting into things, it just stops all the effort. It stops the effort due to guilt, due to anxiety of feeling worthless, hopeless, and that God doesn't love me anymore because I did A, B, or C. The third one is something that a lot of people deal with, trauma. Okay, it could be trauma from an abusive childhood. It could be trauma from a real world experience that you got hurt, or you got psychologically hurt, physically hurt. There's a lot of trauma in the world. And we give power to that trauma at first as a coping mechanism. But after a while, we need to learn how to work through that trauma and get to the other side. I have a lot of trauma from my childhood, but I also have trauma from my military service. And if you served with me, or if you didn't, you might understand, you might not. When I was deployed, I saw a lot of bad things happen. I saw a lot of people get hurt. When I got home, I saw a lot of people get hurt again. I also had friends of mine who passed away from injuries or from sickness. And the guilt I have isn't, it's probably normal. It's survivor's guilt, I guess. Seeing people that I worked with every day who got sick, or can't get the help they need, or financially are struggling, or their marriage got ruined during deployment. And I'm here happily married, doing okay, physically got stuff, but I'm alive, I'm breathing, I'm working through stuff, I'm dealing with it. But I have a lot of that survivor's guilt, survivor's remorse. And while it's healthy to a point, it also can hold you back from dealing with your next day, dealing with the next thing. When I talk to my friends from the past, a lot of times I talk about things that happened 12, 13, 14 years ago because I never got over the trauma that happened. When I find one of my people that I deployed with passing away from a sickness or suicide, or they're drinking themselves to death, I feel guilt over that. I feel like maybe I needed to reach out more. Maybe I needed to help more. Maybe I needed to do more. When honestly, I don't know what else I could do for a lot of these guys, but I still feel that way. And I help out certain veterans that I know, even ones I didn't deploy with, but other ones that I know, just to see if I can get them help, because I feel like if I can help them, it will make me feel better. So it's kind of selfish, but also I'm helping others, so it's a good selfish, I guess. And while your brain deals with trauma differently and it does things different ways, you still have it. Everyone's trauma is different. You can't say, well, that's not traumatic for me. It was for that person, or it was for me, so it's still traumatic. So what does anxiety and guilt the loop. Okay, there's a loop. I have a loop. Maybe you don't have a loop, but I have a loop. And what does it really look like? When you say no to something, there's guilt. When you say no, or I can't do it, you feel I'm being selfish. Then you think they're mad at me. They're going to leave me. They're going to not want me anymore. They don't want to be my friend. You freeze, or you over apologize, or you make up some excuse that makes you feel better. And then you feel guilty for not handling it better. And it starts all over again. And then maybe you overcompensate and you do a whole bunch of stuff for that person that you said no to because you feel guilty about it. But then you have to say no to somebody else. And once you say no to somebody else, I'm being selfish, they're mad, they're going to leave me, you freeze, you over apologize, more guilt for not handling it better, and so on and so forth. And this is something that I have done a lot. I've done a lot mostly with my kids and with my wife. I feel like if I say no, they're going to just not be with me anymore, not want to be part of my life. And that can be from, Dad, I need money, to Dad, I need you to do this, or Dad, hey, how about we do this? And sometimes I just don't want to, or I can't, but I somehow still feel like I have to. And if I don't, then they're not going to love me anymore. It's an emotional debt, okay, with interest. It's like a high interest student loan. And you can't over apologize your way out of it. You can't fix the problem like that. All you can really do is move on and be okay with moving on. And that's the struggle I'm having now. And I realized over the last couple days is I need to work through that guilt and not feel guilty for taking care of myself. Here's an example I use. You don't go home for a family event. So say my kids are having something in Pennsylvania and they really want me to go. And I don't go because I just can't. Mentally, physically, I just can't. Or I have something that I feel like is really important and I can't. The guilt is I'm a bad dad, I'm a bad grandfather, I hate them, I don't love them. That's what I feel inside if I say no. And then I get well, they don't care anyway, they don't really love you. Really though, if they're your kids or your parents or your loved ones, they know you. They know what you've been through. They know you're tired. They know that. But yet, you feel like you're failing them and you're falling apart. And it's horrible, right? You just don't know what to do. And so sometimes you force yourself to do these things even when you can't. You force yourself to burn out quicker because you're trying to do so much with so little time and energy. Then there's a work thing, okay? This is a big issue for me and probably for others. You have a day off, or you're not in till later. But then you go into work or you go into a place and you feel guilty because they're struggling or they're shorthanded. But it's your day off. You requested it. You need the day off. Or, you're at school and you're teaching, and after school, students reach out to you even though they're not supposed to. And you feel guilty if you don't answer them. You feel like you're failing them and they're going to fail and they need you, and this is why you're a teacher, or this is why you're doing this job, or this is why you're doing this job. I answered my emails all times of night from everybody, even though I wasn't supposed to, because I felt like if I didn't, I would fail my students and my students wouldn't trust me and they wouldn't like me. They wouldn't want to learn. If they didn't learn, they were going to fail and their parents would hate me and then I'd be fired. That's not reality. Checking your email every 8 to 10 minutes because you want to make sure you don't miss anything, that's not okay. Your work email does not need to be checked every 8 to 10 minutes when you're not working. If you're working, maybe. Friends. I don't have a lot of friends that I consider close. The friends I do have, it's weird. If they reach out to me or if they text me, a lot of times I feel like I have to text them right back. And if I don't, then they think that I'm being rude or obnoxious or I'm not important to them, or then I'm not going to answer, and that's why. It's a lot of that. If you don't respond, then you hate them, and if they think they hate you, they're not going to like you, and there's a lot of that. And again, you're sacrificing your own mental, physical time to keep up a facade that you can't keep. You can't keep burning it that way, but yet you keep doing it. And again, if they're your friends, they probably know what world you're in, what mood you're in, what concepts you're doing, the stress you're under, and they don't expect something right away, but yet you think they do. So you force yourself or you push yourself to do things you really can't accomplish. So let's be clear. This isn't about fixing guilt or anxiety. It's about noticing when they're lying to you, when those voices inside, that anxiety, that guilt, when it's telling you things that aren't real. Okay, you name it. I'm feeling guilty because of. I'm feeling anxious because of. The simple sentence changes everything. Check the math. Did you actually do something wrong? Did you actually say something wrong? Did you actually present yourself in a way you shouldn't have? Or are you just afraid of disappointing someone, anyone? Take a small action. Don't ghost, don't over apologize. Just say, hey, sorry, I've been quiet, needed a break. Hope you're well. That's enough. It's enough. Let discomfort stay. Sometimes sitting in it is okay. You'll want to do something to make it stop. Don't. Just let guilt sit there. Let anxiety pace around. You're not in danger. You're just uncomfortable. Don't believe the voice inside your head sometimes. Guilt and anxiety love to cosplay as your moral compass. Okay, they like to dress up as your actual inner voice, your actual conscience. But sometimes they're just the old wiring trying to keep you small, keep you beaten down. You don't owe obedience to those thoughts. You don't owe anything to those voices. Give them a little attention and let it go. So yeah, guilt, anxiety will tell you you're not doing enough. That you're a disappointment, that you're in danger to the people you love. But the truth is you're a human being. I've said this many, many times. You're human. You make mistakes. You make great choices. You make bad choices. Shape your own story. Decide who you're going to be every day. And if you're paying attention to the stuff, you're already breaking that cycle. You're wearing the anxiety and guilt, those little voices down. You're allowed to take care of yourself without guilt. You're allowed to feel anxious and not do anything about it. You're allowed to be seen in your full humanity. Even when you feel like a mess, you're allowed. It's okay. It's okay to be not okay. It's difficult, this life we live, but it's doable. You don't have to apologize for existing. You don't have to apologize for being who you are. If you made it this far, great job. If you made it to today, if you woke up this morning and you're living and you're breathing and you're existing, first step. Now, deal with that anxiety, deal with that depression, deal with that guilt. Understand that today, name it, work through it. Tomorrow could be another day, could be better, could be worse. But doing the steps over and over and over again, finding what works, finding what doesn't work, that will help you grow and be better. Because that's really what this is about. Growing, encouraging one another, changing oneself, and finding out that you matter to everyone around you, even if you don't think you do. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for being you. Till next time.